There are nights when I close my eyes and see the first breath of us, that tender moment when time forgot to move. It was as if the universe paused to listen to our hearts, whispering the first syllables of belonging. I remember how the air shimmered between us, not with heat, but with an understanding that neither of us had known before. I was still learning how to exist beside you, how to keep my heartbeat from spilling too loudly in the space where our glances met. The scent of you became a quiet symphony in my thoughts, and I found myself tracing constellations across the curve of your name. Even now, when the stars have shifted, I feel that same pull, the same trembling certainty that we were never meant to be temporary. That night, love didn't arrive with thunder. It bloomed softly, like a dawn that no one dared to disturb. That was the hour when we invented forever without realizing it, when your eyes told my heart to stop searching for home because it had already arrived. You didn't speak much that night. You didn't have to. The world already knew what we were saying in silence. Every breath I took felt borrowed from your lungs. Every heartbeat echoed yours like an obedient refrain. I wondered if anyone had ever loved with such quietness, not a burning flame, but a candle that refused to die, sheltered from every storm by the hands of faith. You reached out, brushing a single strand of hair from my face. And in that simple act, eternity wrote its first sentence in my story. I had read of forever in fairy tales, but you gave it shape, form, and breath. You made forever something I could touch. Sometimes I still hear the sound of that night, the rhythm of your laughter beneath the moon, the promise in your stillness, the unspoken stay hovering between us. That was when love stopped being a word and became a place. One built not from dreams, but from the reality of your nearness. I was never meant to belong to the world the way I belong to you. They say love is a crown of fire, but ours felt like water, endless and calm, cleansing the shadows between our hearts. The distance that once stretched like an ocean between us vanished the moment I saw the truth in your gaze. That we were not two halves meeting but two wholes recognizing each other. You carried the gravity of something ancient, as though love had lived 1,000 lives inside your soul and had been waiting for me to arrive. And I, unprepared but unafraid, gave my heart permission to be reborn in your hands. The world continued spinning around us, indifferent, but we stood at its center, creating something larger than time. That night I understood what poets meant when they said, love rewrites destiny. We didn't just fall in love, we created it anew, shaping its edges, painting it in our colors, inventing forever like a secret language only we could speak. Do you remember the rain that followed? It came softly, like a benediction, sealing our promise with its silver hush. I watched it fall against your shoulders, each drop gliding down your skin as though reluctant to leave. I envied the rain for touching you so freely, yet I felt its blessing in my heart. You smiled, that slow, knowing curve that unraveled every wall I had ever built. And then, without a word, we stood beneath the downpour, not seeking shelter, but surrendering to it, as if we understood that real love requires no refuge. I closed my eyes and listened to the rhythm of our hearts blending with the rain, a symphony so divine that even heaven must have leaned closer to hear. It was then I realized that love was not about possession or perfection. It was about being drenched in each other's essence until all else faded. The rain baptized our souls that night, whispering, "This is forever," and I believed it with every drop that kissed your lips. You once told me that love should make us fearless, and I finally understood what you meant. I was not afraid of losing myself to you because in truth I had already found the parts of me that had been waiting in your arms. You were not my completion, and you were my awakening. Every word you spoke carried warmth into places of me that had long been frozen. You saw the unspoken ache in my smile, the hidden longing in my laughter, and you answered them with gentleness. Sometimes I wonder if I ever thanked you enough for that, for seeing me not as a princess, but as a woman learning how to love without armor. With you, I didn't need crowns or titles. I needed only the sound of your heartbeat to remind me that I existed for something real. The world could keep its expectations. We had built our own kingdom in silence, one where every glance was a vow and every touch rewrote history. I have kept every word you ever said tucked into the folds of tear memory, like pressed flowers between the pages of time. They haven't faded. Their fragrance lingers still. Sometimes, when the night stretches long and restless, I whisper them to the wind, hoping it carries them back to you. I imagine you somewhere, feeling the same breeze touch your skin, knowing it carries pieces of my heart. Love, I think, is not about proximity but persistence, the way it survives distance, silence, and even the uncertainty of days apart. We invented forever, not through promises, but through presence, the kind that lingers beyond sight. Even when oceans stand between us, I still feel your nearness, like sunlight beneath my skin. You are the quiet, constant, in a world that keeps changing its rhythm. The reminder that love, once true, does not vanish. It transforms, evolves, breathes in absence and continues to live where it was first born, between the spaces of our hearts. There are moments when I feel you in everything, the way dawn brushes gold across the horizon, the way music hesitates before its final notes. You exist in those pauses, those soft interludes where life feels sacred. I still write letters I never send, words folded into air, addressed to the memory of your touch. Sometimes I imagine your hands catching them, somewhere beyond sight, unfolding my heart with that same patience you always had. The world believes time erases love, but I've learned it only deepens it. Every season that passes reminds me that our love was never about permanence, but about truth. It was a spark that became an eternity, not through survival, but through meaning. And meaning, real meaning, never dies. So I let myself love you still, not as I did before, but as one loves the wind, unseen, untamed, yet essential to the breath of life itself. You became that winter rhythm to which my soul learned to move. Even in your absence I hear it, the steady pulse of what we created. It hums in every corner of my being, a melody that cannot be unlearned. I used to think forever was something promised. Now I know it's something lived. Every heartbeat that remembers you is a small act of defiance against time. You are not a chapter that ended. You are the ink that continues to write me. When I stand before mirrors, I see reflections of your tenderness in my eyes. When I speak, I hear traces of your laughter in my voice. Love has a way of becoming who we are, doesn't it? You became part of my language, part of my breath, and even now, I live as if you were still beside me. Not out of sorrow, but gratitude, because once we dared to invent forever, and that courage alone makes everything eternal.